And the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has expressed concerns over the return of special squads affecting abductions and extrajudicial killings in the country. The commission said the torture by security agents during anti-government protests by the opposition has been evident, as documented by mainstream media and images of social media showing uniformed and plainclothes police officers in wanton and brutal attack of defenseless members of the public. And as Seth Olale reports, the Commission has urged the Independent Policing Oversight Authority to hasten the investigations into these allegations of torture and ensure perpetrators face appropriate legal consequences.
Non-uniformed policemen repulsing protesters at Jacaranda, Embakasi East constituency during last week's anti-government protests. With the Independent Policing Oversight Authority announcing that it is commencing its investigations over alleged incidences of extrajudicial killings since the commencement of the anti-government protests, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, KNCHR, says it is concerned over the return of special police squads responsible for extrajudicial killings and abductions in the country.
The Commission has received reports of alleged abductions by persons believed to be police officers in the recent past. These events are worrying as the reminders of our dark past, where the security agencies had special squads that would effect such extrajudicial activities. Such practices violate fundamental human rights and erode trust between the police, the state, and its citizens. These incidences must be investigated transparently and impartially, and those found accountable be held responsible, and any individual found involved in those egregious actions should be brought to book.
In a seemingly change of tact, the National Police Service deployed a special squad donning civilian attire as backup during last week's demonstrations in Mathare, Kayole and Jacaranda in what was a repeat operation witnessed in Mlolongo and Kamukunji a fortnight ago. Incidences of deaths resulting from bullet wounds was reported majorly in Mathare and Mlolongo, where the squad was deployed. Victor Juma, a resident of Mathare number 10, was among those who came face to face with the undercover unit during last week's demos.
Jirani akakuwa ananiita, jo, Viki, mtoto wako wapigwa tear gas na wako ndani ya nyumba, unaweza kuja kumtake, umtoe nje uende umuone venye atakuwa fine. Nikamwambia msimtoe nje juu tear gas iko nje most. Sasa mngoje kwanza iishe, baadaye ndakama.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga, during a previous press conference, claimed that a killer police squad has been formed to brutally suppress protesters and opposition leaders.
Police have shot, injured and killed protesters in various parts of the country, including here in Nairobi. Scores of protesters have been arrested for participating in an exercise that is clearly protected by our Constitution.
Security experts are now warning that the deployment of such heavily armed special units to neutralize demonstrators and opposition leaders could be a catalyst for extrajudicial killings, since such police squads are trained and major in combat operations and not street riots.
Every country and every security formation has special units. Their boundaries are to act within the limits of the Constitution and within the service provision. If the service provides that there is the prerequisite requisition for us to form a special unit, then we shall form the unit. But then when we deploy the unit, it is important that the structure of management of that unit, the policy framework for the function of that unit, and the administrative control for that unit had to be specifically defined, and the operatives of that unit
President William Ruto vowed to bring to an end extrajudicial killings and forced disappearance when he squarely blamed on the dreaded Special Service Unit SSU operating under the DCI. The criticism was followed by the disbandment of the police squad by the new DCI boss, Mohamed Amin.
How did Kenyans end up being killed in this manner? And then it was business as usual. 30 bodies in Yala, the 17 bodies in Garissa. There was a container here at the Nairobi area where people were being slaughtered in a police station. How did we end up there?
However, with the deployment of armed, non-uniformed undercover police officers to quell protesters, has the Ruto administration made a U-turn on its promise?
If you look at me dressed in a police uniform, then you'll say this is a police person with a specific objective. But when I come and mingle with you, you have no idea who I am because of my dressing. It's more or less similar to yourself. And then in a short while you hear a gunshot and somebody's down. Then it tells you, now the success there will be measured by where you are, but countrywide, extrajudicial killing is something that we all condemn and is becoming a problem.
With the ghosts of the once dreaded Flying Squad, Special Branch and Kwekwe still haunting victims who fell prey to the police units accused of extrajudicial killings, there are concerns by human rights groups that there is a deliberate scheme to revive the operation and systems of such squads. Even as the National Police Service maintains that it is restoring order during public demonstrations, experts say that such arrangements should be in line with the guided policy and management structures. Seth Olale, Citizen TV, Nairobi.